Hello, Speed Gaming.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Hype for this race?
Yup.
Yeah. So we got... Wait, are we live? We are, right?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
At least I think so.
Okay, we got, this is, ACM versus JoeDamillio. 4th seed versus the 10th seed. Both these guys are very strong players. ACM is definitely probably the second most consistent player in this game, I'd say. And Joe is a very strong player as well. So if Joe has a good run, there's a good chance he could beat ACM. But ACM is known for being very consistent, like I said. So
Yeah, this race can go anywhere because it's linked to fast. It's pretty hard, so it can go pretty. So this can be anyone's game, really.
Joe's pretty much overdue for a pretty big PB right now. Around the mid 125 level, I'd say, or even lower. ACM, he's just been playing a lot lately, so there's a good chance he's gonna finish strong, at least with a sub 130. If he doesn't have any problems with Moldorm this time.
ACM also has the world record for the GBA version of this category, so I'm definitely looking forward to this race.
Shoutouts to the GBA version. If you like hearing Link's voice and playing Link to the Past, it's definitely the version to play. Not to mention Mach Speed.
I don't enjoy it.
So who do you think is gonna take this W here? Or who do you think is gonna win?
Any predictions in the chat? I want to say.
What do you think? What do you think?
I think. Well, I definitely respect ACM with his world record on GBA, so I think I'm going for ACM here.
All right, that's a solid pick. Pretty safe pick too, I'd say. I am rooting for my man Joe here. I think he can pull out a solid run.
Yeah, Joe did really good on his last race, so he does definitely have a chance against ACM if things go well for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like I said, if Joe has a solid run, he could take this win. But he's definitely gonna have to play at a consistent. He's gonna have to be consistent because ACM is pretty much almost unmatched when it comes to consistency. He's played the game for many years now. I think maybe 4 years, I'd say. I think he started playing around 2012. So yeah, he's about around 4 years, I'd say. Yeah, respect on ACM's name. ACM number 1. He's one of the first streamers I followed that played Link to the Past when I started.
Yeah, ACM was definitely. I didn't hear about him until he submitted his GBA time on the Major Glitches, and that was the very first time I've ever actually heard about him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And of course, people in the chat probably know JoeDamillio because he's been in AGDQ before.
Yeah, Joe's got some really solid times in other games like Castlevania, or Super Castlevania, Diddy Kong Racing, Aladdin. All his times are like top tier.
Yeah.
So he's pretty dedicated speedrunner. He picked this game up, I think, last year at some point. About a year into when I picked it up, and he learned it really quick and improved very quick.
Probably just around the same time I picked up this category.
That's a fun category. I picked up 100% first.
Yeah, I picked up 100%, and then I did glitch any percent for a little bit, and then went back to 100% for a very long time, and then out of basically all the years I've ran A Link to the Past, which is from 2012 up until now, I haven't picked up no major glitches up until last summer.
Oh, you've been playing the game longer than me. I've picked this game up in 2014. May 2000. Actually, I've just hit my 2-year mark today.
Oh wow! Oh nice.
I just realized that. Nice. So yeah, I've played it off and on, but I've mostly stuck to Link to the Past.
What was your inspiration with this game?
I saw Jaden's I think it's AGDQ 2013. Is No Major Glitches run.
SGDQ 2013.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I can't remember which one it was, but that when I saw that run, I like knew immediately that this is the game I want to speedrun.
For me, I saw a Let's Play of someone playing Link to the Past, and he was playing really fast during his LP, and I figured, it came to me like, wow, I must play this game. This game looks too fun.
Yeah, it's deceptively easy, but it's definitely more difficult than it looks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Movements very
a lot of really precise strategies that you have to do in order to get through certain things really quickly.
There's a lot of instances where the wrong input can just one wrong input can really screw things up.
Ladies and gentlemen, looks like Zelna is also racing.
That guy's
It looks like we have a 3-way race on this tournament.
Alright, so we're starting in about 10 seconds here.
Here we go. Good luck, runners. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! And we have a delay. But don't worry, we'll be getting...
That's why I waited. That's why I didn't count down, because I knew...
Alright, and they've begun. Alright. We got the basic any percent glitchless category. Well, not really glitchless. There are some glitches, but they're not big glitches.
Escape sequence, as most people know by now. This
it's I despise it the most.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's very movement intensive. You have to use a lot of pumping and precise movements, entering doors correctly, pumping off bushes and walls. All that stuff saves just a slight amount of time here. But
the first like 3 minutes or so of escape is pretty straightforward, but then like the second half of the segment is become like pretty RNG dependent. They're not too huge, but you could lose a little bits of time.
Yeah, the variance is the variance really starts after you kill the ball and chain guard, or once you enter the sewers section.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna have to turn some sound on here.
I honestly never actually, up until last night, I never knew that the left hallway is actually just a little bit faster due to pumping. I've always just went to left side first out of like all my Link to the Past runs.
Yeah, the right side they used to think it was faster because they didn't know about air pumping, which was like discovered, I forget when, but it was discovered after like wall pumping. So they didn't know like air pumping was a thing. So what they would do is they'd take the right side because it was just easier, I guess, to pump on that side from what I understand.
I don't know. In the task route used to do right side first.
Yeah, I forgot the exact reasons, but it has something to do with.
Maybe you just have better RNG in that room, probably, when you're doing wall pumping.
Possibly.
I don't know. I've never really found a difference up until I started like learning the minor techniques like that.
Alright, so ACM and both ACM and Joe are going for the 8/. Actually, no. Joe actually does the. He has his own personal strat that he uses here with the spin, a spin, then a couple slashes. The
I've never actually
spins and
seen that
pokes.
strat before.
Yeah, the spins and the pokes on ball and chain guard do the same because the fighter sword. A lot of the bosses, the fighter sword does the same amount of damage. So it doesn't matter if you spin attack them or poke them or whatever. It's the same amount of damage. So they both got 257. That's pretty decent. I think the earliest anyone's ever gotten the key was 253. 254 is
world record.
I think that might be the best ever. 254 is really good as well. 255 is what you kind of want, and or 256. Anything more, it's like you're about average. And you'll see that they're like booming a lot of these enemies. The reason they do that is because you get like a slight bit of lag almost when you slash enemies. So it's faster to boom the enemies, just slightly. And you can walk through them too, of course, when you boom them.
They also want to mash left and right when they're going upstairs. It saves a little bit of time.
Yeah, you kind of like want to wiggle. Actually, in some doors, you can do some door pumping as well.
Yeah.
And that actually can save about a frame or two.
You can do pumping. Yeah, door pumping works on doors that face you left or up as usual for regular wall pumping.
You see him on 551 pace right now. Joe on 552 or 553 pace. Now it depends on their key rat here. This key rat can go in the northwest corner, which is the hardest RNG to handle because it like cost a couple seconds.
That's RNG right there.
They both got good RNG. So no setbacks so far. Joe's just slightly behind. ACM is a much stronger light world than most players. And he plays it pretty safe as well.
Yeah, light world in most categories are pretty RNG heavy. There's a lot of little RNG that can screw you up into having a good time. So like 70% of the time, if you're going for good runs, then 70% of the time you'd reset.
Yeah, it looks like ACM got a 551, Joe got a 552. Both very good escape times. And they're both going to grab the Sanctuary Heart, I'm pretty sure. Alright, yeah, I'll try to fix that.
What'd they say? 10 seconds too early?
Unfortunately, live streamer does not work for me, so I'm stuck with multi-Twitch. Try not to spoil anything. No, I don't. Can you? Okay.
So So now they're both making their way to the first dungeon of the game, East Palace. One of the most important, or one of the more important things in between dungeons is overworld movement. Kind of overworld movement really does depend on how good your segment is for your dungeon segments as well. So you can have good dungeon segments, but have really bad overworld movement in between that. That blue guard always gets in the way most of the time, so you want to boomerang him. You didn't get in the way for Joe. So yeah, they're not too far apart from each other, but there's still a lot of the game left for it to actually be fully determined. Ooh, the 3 skeleton strat. Yeah, I'm on a live streamer.
Oh, I think it just came up for me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just like a half second ahead, if anything. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay,
I'll go
thank
ahead
you.
and switch to that. So pop this out.
So anyway, what happened on ACMLM on that skeleton room? He threw a pot downwards, which would spawn 3 skeletons. Normally, optimally, you want to kill 2 skeletons and then leave that room. Normally, 4 skeletons spawn, but depending on your movement coming into that room, you can kill 2.
These guys are literally tied right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a good race, guys. Stick around. Unfortunately, I won't be in for the whole race. As good as this race is already.
Pull up the speed gaming chat.
Looks like Joe got an extra magic pot. It's important that at the end of each dungeon, you complete every dungeon with as much hearts and magic possible. Otherwise, you lose frames for every time the game has to heal up your magic and hearts.
Yeah, it's I believe it's 16 frames per magic meter, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Joe just entering slightly earlier than ACM. Both going for the top right Armo strat. This is a very simple strat, actually. It's a second faster than bottom right Armos. Oh, this is a pretty good time for both of them. 10:38 and 10:39.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really good. Now watch, Joe's gonna actually fade out faster because he has an extra meter of magic.
Yeah, so ACMLM lost just a little bit of time because he had less magic than Joe. And I believe he also had less hearts, I think. Okay, both runners are going for the True Rupee route. Just from the way that they're talking to Sahasrara. And then coming up is Spin Speed.
Spin speed's a very a very annoying technique at a high level because missing it is just costing you seconds. It looks like both of them got it first try.
Yeah, if you miss a spin speed, then you lose all the time that you would save just from doing spin speed.
The one after Eastern, or the one after you get the boots, is that one's worth going for about 2 or 3 times because of how long that screen is. It saves a lot of time on that screen. As you can see, Joe opted to do the spin speed on the library screen here, but ACM didn't. It doesn't save too much time on this screen. It's about maybe 20 to 30 frames, I think. But
overall,
if you miss the spin speed, you're losing time.
Overall, the Japanese version saves about like a couple minutes or so.
Not really a couple minutes. It's like it's a minute. It's probably like 10 seconds total, if anything.
Really?
It's not. Yeah, it's not that much time at all.
Because I know you save a minute in text in text overall, but then.
Yeah. The minor glitches don't really. The biggest minor glitch saves about 40 seconds. Then that's the hammer jump, and then you got about 10 seconds at most with spin speed. It just saves the most time after Eastern and on Death Mountain, of course.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah, it's not anything more. You're not really getting more than a minute. A minute, like 20, if anything. That's why the US version you can still play competitively on the US version. It's just a minute or so slower.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so they're both making their way to Desert Palace. Desert Palace can be a little bit confusing at first when playing casually, but it's pretty straightforward in a speed run. It definitely does take advantage of how useful dashing around a dungeon is with the Pegasus boots.
It's Dash Palace. That's another name for it.
Yeah. Is this the dungeon that you dash the most in out of all the dungeons?
You do a lot of dashing in every other dungeon, I would say. This is like the game introducing you to your boots, pretty much. Like it's just like trying to get you warmed up, I guess. There's a lot of long dashes. So your dashing doesn't have to be like super crazy optimal at first. You're just dashing in long rooms where there's not much going on.
So both players didn't get they got some both runners got some pretty iffy RNG in the cannonball room, but they both got through just fine.
ACM is like 1 second behind right now. Both of them are having pretty good runs.
I'll just wait till they both get to land molas.
They both have a lot of arrows too. I think they grab the extra pot in Eastern. It's like...
It looks like both of them did not go for spin speed through that section. It's risky because you have a chance of falling off. It looks like Acmlm pulled ahead because Joe didn't push the first block long enough. Ooh. Alright, so here comes the first equalizer, possibly. Land molas can be friendly to you, or they could stall you out in time. You want a 2 cycle optimally. 3 is okay. Every other cycle after that makes the fight pretty annoying. takes 4 arrows per landmola, or 8 slashes with your sword.
It's a really solid fight from ACM.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Joe just had like 1 extra cycle, but he was close as well.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad from either of them. Joe definitely wanted a 3 cycle, I can tell.
You can somewhat manipulate the landmola's movements from using bombs. I mean, you have to go out of your way to actually get bombs to do that. It just means like an extra hit for landmolas if you use the bomb strat.
It's more consistent, yeah, to use the bombs, but now that the rupee route's changed, it's not really imperative to get bombs for that fight anymore.
Yeah, I've never done the strat before, but that's I've heard it makes it somewhat easy.
Yeah, I've actually never learned it either. So I think I started around the time where I think the rupee route was brand new. Sorry, my cat.
I like that question in the chat. Where are the runners playing from? Their homes?
They are playing from their homes.
It's more like they're playing at a convention center.
Not some stadium where they're sitting like in the middle.
Yeah, a GDQ room. Right, here's another chance for the race to equal up here. Death Mountain is horrible.
This whole segment's pretty awful, honestly. It's like when you make it this far in your speed run and nothing has gone bad, you definitely don't want this segment to go bad at all.
Yeah.
And this is actually. Oh, it looks like Joe's very, very, very close to death.
But he is still going to go in there.
Nah, he'll be fine. Once you're inside Hera, it's like, okay, you know, the worst that'll happen is you'll die like in the first room.
Hera is definitely like probably the hardest Light World dungeon. I don't think anybody likes it.
Yeah, I hate it myself.
That snake, right? That ACM approach usually gets in my way during my runs, so I usually kill him. Because he gets really annoying.
Looks like neither of them are going for the boom dash. I wouldn't expect Joe to go for it in this shape. They're both kind of in bad shape, honestly.
Yeah.
ACM has 2 hearts, JoeDamillio having 1. It's, this next room that they're about to enter is going to be very scary for both of them. Especially Joe, because, you're already waiting for these tiles. This is like the auto-scroller of Link to the Past.
Oh.
ACM is having a dance.
Okay, he made it through. Okay, let's see Joe.
Looks like Joe handled that. Joe's a G because he's been in this situation more times than I can count. Same with me and anyone actually. It's not uncommon to be low health in this dungeon. A very interesting strat there from Joe. It's a Japanese strat, I believe. It's from the player Pui. I think first time I'd ever seen that. It's one of the only players that does it, and it's not that much slower.
Good decision for both the runners hitting that switch, because there's a bunch of hearts right before Moldorm.
ACM just barely missed death there. And they're both gonna have 1 heart entering Moldorm.
Yeah.
I would not want to be in this situation, to be honest. This is like the definition of this segment right here. Every player's nightmare.
I lose a lot of math sword runs.
They both get the switch, so they're both gonna be fine. ACM just filled up his hearts, and then Joe going in with 3, which is like something I'd be more comfortable with myself.
Moldorm doesn't. You don't really get hit by Moldorm much. It's a matter of just getting pushed around with by Moldorm than getting hit. Moldorm's definitely a run killer for a lot of runs. Definitely lost a lot of runs.
They both didn't take a single hit of damage from Moldorm. So in theory, they could have just went upstairs and went in with 1 heart if they wanted to.
Well, you never know.
Right, exactly. It's better to be safe than sorry at this point, because this death may not be too costly, but it's about a minute. And since they're both close, that's not something I think neither of them are willing to take.
I actually have a 100% PB where I actually fell on Moldorm, and for some reason I thought it was a good idea to just keep going with it. That sync though, I love it.
We're gonna start seeing it. Like I said, we're gonna see maybe a variation of Acmlm here, but if they both have the same amount of blue balls, we're gonna see a lot of like
a back and forth race, definitely.
Yeah, Joe in my opinion has a slightly stronger Dark World than ACM. He does a lot more faster strats. ACM, like, he plays more safe in the Dark World. But playing safe could always be better too, you know, it's less of a chance he has of losing a race. Can't believe how close they are, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see another equalizer, as what Blunt said in against Aghanim, which is what they're coming up to now.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting because Joe is actually going to be doing an optimal Aghanim's Tower, whereas ACM, he doesn't use the bow in Aghanim's Tower, he uses the boomerang. So you're going to see a variation of strats here. It's going to be interesting. It is better to use the bow because it's faster. Depending on your arrow count, of course, you know, you want to have a lot of arrows for this dungeon.
But if you want to take it safe, then you can use the boomerang.
Yeah. Nice, ACM went to go for a swag boom strat there that he normally does.
I want you guys to predict in chat how many blue balls both these runners are going to get. It's okay to predict the same number for both runners. I'm gonna say 3 blue balls for both runners.
I hope they both get 0. Because they'll both be on PB pace. I know Joe will be for sure. He's on a pretty decent run right now. So this is where the strats are going to vary. Joe's going for a variation of the Pui strat. And look how much faster that strat is compared to what ACM did. And ACM still goes for the spin in this room, which he, as you can see, he just got a fairy drop. Now that fairy isn't going to appear in Turtle Rock, at least not until later in the prize pack. So there's a good chance ACM will not be getting a fairy in Turtle Rock, but Joe has a very high chance of getting a fairy now. It's just interesting, like, they're so close and you can see the variation of strats in this dungeon. It's very interesting to watch.
Both of them taking the safe route in this room. You can also go left, but there's like a blue guard in the way sometimes. And he can be really annoying.
That's a fair point, Kaznode. ACM does play Turtle Rock much safer than most players, so he doesn't really have to worry about the fairies too much. ACM getting beat up by these red guards here. Joe having an overall really good Aghanim's Tower.
That red soldier got in the way of ACM. That happens sometimes. You can't really do much about it.
Wow, this is like mind-blowing how much room or how much time these rooms lose if you don't execute them properly. Because he's really, they were the same. They were like tied when they entered this dungeon, and now they're like 2 rooms apart. So I'm hoping they get very low blue ball counts here. I'd hate to see somebody really get robbed and get like 10 or something. I just don't want to see that.
Yeah. Especially in 100% races where like my opponent gets ahead of me but then gets bad RNG because of some RNG factors in 100%.
Okay, you got 1 from Joe so far.
Okay. Pay attention to ACM.
One from ACM now.
Okay. 1-1 so far.
2 from ACM.
Ooh.
It's not really good to get 2 in the first cycle. So 2 for Joe. It's good so far. Got 3 for Joe now. 3 is the most common. And looks like he's gonna actually get 3. He's gonna have 3 because now the next one's gonna be yeah, ACM too. They're both gonna get 3. Nice.
Wow, this is a good race so far.
Yeah, they're both getting 3 because the first hit in every cycle is always an energy ball, so you don't have to worry about any more blue balls once you've gotten 3.
I remember this one time I was teaching somebody how to play A Link to the Past for his very first time, and just out of nowhere, he got 0 blue balls on his first try.
Did anybody pick 3-3?
I did.
Oh, nice, dude. You're gonna win a trip to Nickelodeon Studios. I hope you're excited. All expenses paid, by the way.
Nice.
Alright, so now they're both entering the dark. Wow, this is gonna be such a good race. ACM not going for the spin speed after Palisade or after Aghanim's Tower. No, Emma, I'm not funding the trip. Alright, so now this is anyone's game still, of course, but this is a pretty exciting race, honestly. They both didn't get screwed on RNG too bad. They're about tied. But like I said, Joe's got a slightly stronger Dark World than ACM. ACM's just more consistent, so it can go either way.
Yeah, Dark World is definitely is where the run starts getting more skill based.
Right.
There's a lot more harder areas to go through in Dark World. A lot of the enemies start doing more damage, and it just gets harder from here.
It's important to note that in this dungeon, since they both decided to get the Sank heart, they have 7 hearts, so there's a good chance they're going to be entering Helmasaur with full health. This gives, since all the attacks that Helmasaur does is 2 hearts, there's a good chance that they'll survive because having that extra heart can save them pretty much. where you can take 3 hits, whereas if you didn't have the same card, you'd take 2. It makes this that's the first like major difference in grabbing the same card.
Hera as well.
Oh yeah, Hera, of course. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't even matter though. You just get wrecked on Death Mountain and that's it. Even if you have the same card.
Well, but then you have a slightly less chance of dying in Death Mountain without if you have the same card.
True.
Actually, now it's important.
Save Joe in the last segment.
Now it's important that they don't take any damage on their way and throughout Dark Palace, because it'll save them time for like the lower half of the of Dark Palace, as well as Helmasaur is really hard.
So they're both coming up to the hammer jump here. It looks like Joe.
Uh-oh.
Joe just decided to bail on that, which was a good decision. He wasn't able to get in position properly. He's okay now.
You can miss this jump
now
twice.
Now they're tied again, because Joe made a good decision there, because when you know you don't have enough time to get the bomb jump off, the best thing to do is to just fall, take 1 heart of damage, and just try again as fast as you can, because you're wasting your time if the bridge is already collapsing. So that was a very smart move for Joe. So now they're tied, so he didn't really take a huge loss from that. And he's gonna have to grab an extra heart.
Yeah, you can miss that bomb jump twice and still make it faster than doing it the normal way. So what you're normally supposed to do is go across the bridge, go down the basement, get a lot of rupees, and then grab a key, and then go to the dark maze to get that.
My God, that was a sexy statue. I just had to say that.
It's alright. Both runners did not go for the pots, or the arrow pots. I don't know.
Those arrow pots are actually really slow. If you absolutely need arrows, then you need to grab them, of course, but there's absolutely no reason to grab them if you have at least 1 arrow.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When I'm doing my runs, I like to be conservative with arrows and bombs.
Yeah, I understand. There's a lot of really good places to get arrows. See him. It's like looks like they're both. Oh my God.
Oh.
Both had solid.
Wow. Good throw rooms for both of them. And Michelangelo did not get up on time.
Right. So I'm hoping that they both have good Helmasaurs here. Dang it, Feasel. I knew it. Oh my God, dude. This is incredible.
ACM pulled ahead once again.
He had a much nicer Helmasaur.
Yeah. Ideally, you don't want to have Helmasaur shooting out fireballs.
Yeah, it's important to note that when he shoots the fireballs and they spread into 3, they always spread in a clockwise motion, so you can kind of like figure out where you want to be standing when these things decide to spread. Mm-hmm. But it's always in a clockwise motion. I think it's a 50% chance, like 50-50, that it'll be the top fireball, if I'm not mistaken.
Sometimes Helmasaur can really destroy you by cornering you in the bottom corner of the room, shooting out a fireball, or even tail whip you at a spot where you can't really get out of it, and you're pretty much just dead at that point.
Joe is on a really good run. I think he's near PB pace, if I'm not mistaken. Or well, he's behind his PB, but
by a little bit, according to his video.
Yeah. If he didn't mess up the bomb jump there, he would have been okay. He would have definitely been ahead. He's having a really good run. I mean,
It's
ACM
kind of a
too,
nice
of
way
course.
to determine if you're ahead of your PB or not, just from watching a video as you're speed running. I actually like that method. I want to try to set that up next time I do speed runs.
Yes, both players are playing on their Super Nintendos. Okay, so the Thieves Overworld is actually pretty complicated. It's easy to lose time on this part right before Thieves, just because of all the little things you have to do. Trying to get the quick warp here. I don't know if anyone's really talked about quick warps and what they do, but on certain, it gets can't think of what it is at this second. X-axis, that's even a word.
Axes.
Axes, whatever. You can get it. There's a chance you'll get you'll save 32 frames or 34 frames on a warp, so it's a half second faster to enter the warp faster. Oh my. I forgot ECM doesn't go for that spin speed. One of the more surprising things that ECM doesn't do. That spin speed is like the best to go for because of Usain Bolt on that screen. And ACM just does dashes still. He's a very old school player, so like, you know, he played before spin speed was even a thing, so he's probably a bit stubborn about changing his strats in some places. See, like right here, they're entering the warp from the left side of the rock. That saves a half second just because they entered that warp from the left side, because it's a quick warp.
Or we could play the GBA version where every warp is a quick warp.
Looks like Joe had a slippery statue pull there.
So Thieves Down's pretty straightforward, super easy to go through.
It's a very strange dungeon. There's a lot of heavy hitting enemies because this is the fourth intended dungeon in the Dark World, and you're entering here with 8 hearts or 7 hearts in some cases, and it's pretty difficult to try to survive because you can get some pretty bad RNG in the next couple rooms coming up here. There's the Hellway, and then there's the room before the Hellway, which is a Patrick Star room. And anti-fairies as well, so you...
I'm hoping both these guys get it.
Yeah, all they gotta do is land on this god pixel and just hope for good RNG to get through the hallway.
You know, what I usually do, it's a little bit slower. I usually pause buffer to get the right pixel in the hallway.
Oh, Joe adjusted himself.
Oh man, he got it, but the Patrick Star got in the way. Did ACM get it as well?
I don't know. I was only watching. They're both on this. I'm trying to watch both of them. It's impossible. He had a good one because he's still really close to Joe here.
Oh yeah. Those grasshoppers do 2 hearts of damage. You don't want to get hit by them.
Oh, Joe just dodged one of the horse bolts. Oh my god, dude! Okay, so I don't know if anybody saw that. When he was dashing down there, the horse on the bottom, the red horse, shot upwards, and Joe actually dashed through it. I forgot exactly how it works, but the game, when you're dashing, the game doesn't check for collision on every frame. So he got really lucky there that he didn't get knocked out of his dash by that horse bull. He dashed like just right through it. Just went right through it. It's truly, truly lucky.
So blind is not random. If you fight him the same exact way, he will always be easy. But there is a pretty slight chance where it can go wrong if you mess up a little bit. Okay, good fight for both of them.
Yeah, very solid fights. Just imitating your vacuum cleaner. So 40, they're sub 43 for both of them. That's pretty good pace still. They're on solid runs. They're both on pace for sorry. They're both on pace for 126s right now. If they keep it up. It's just blowing my mind how close these guys are. Thanks, Emma. Been working hard on my vacuum cleaner impressions. See, that was another one. That was me again. That's how good I am. Okay, so now they're gonna go pick up what they call the cursed dwarf. That's what the game calls him, I guess, which is this frog-looking guy. They're gonna return him to the blacksmith and get the tempered sword, which makes the rest of these dungeons much easier.
Also, that 300 rupee chest that they both got, it's a red boomerang. If you didn't get the boomerang in Hyrule Castle, you're pretty useful in 100%. So you don't really need the tempered sword to beat the game, but it's definitely a heck of a lot easier to go for it. So you don't want to beat the game with just a massive sword.
Well, the main reason you get the tempered sword is because the Ganon fight. Because the Ganon fight with the Master Sword is much harder.
Yeah. Oh my god. I remember the time when I did my first low percent run. It was fantastic.
It's actually one of the most interesting fights to me, is the Master Sword Ganon fight. It's very, very, very intensive fight.
Yeah. You can only hit Ganon.
Dash. Whoa, hang on now. What's going on here?
I don't know. You can only hit Ganon with a spin attack if you're doing the Master Sword strat, which is really hard. So now they're on the way to Skullwoods.
They're going to Skullwoods. This dungeon's actually really short because you only have to grab a couple key. You only have to grab the big key and then the item and then go to the boss. That's all you're doing. And there's multiple keys in this dungeon, so they're just going to be grabbing the easy keys. See how they take on this mummy room here. Joe got worse RNG, but he handled it very well. ACM got door blocked. They both had to dash the left side because of the enemies.
Doesn't matter which side you go about with that room.
Does it? Are you asking me? It's faster, I think, to do the left side, but the right side is like 90% safer.
Ooh, bush guard.
So far, so good from both of them. That's pretty solid Skullwoods. It looks like Joe took an extra hit somewhere.
He got hit by the Ropa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, taking extra damage is really annoying on this segment because you don't want to. Everything, like I said, is doing 2 hearts of damage, so you don't want to. You don't want to lose any health on the way to Moth.
For the longest of time, for a very long time, I never knew that there's a key in that pot.
Yeah, the game, like, I think intends you to grab. See, right in this first room that Joe entered, there's a chest down there. There's a key in that one, which I think the game intends you to use for that door that they just went through. But there's a few trap doors in this dungeon. So that's why they gave you duplicate keys. They don't want you. Oh man, ACM got bunnied.
Shoutouts to Blunt Bunny.
Yeah. That's one of the most annoying rooms to get caught up in. Go. ACM having a very, very rough fight here. Now, for those who don't know, the reason that ACM was having all that trouble there is, the Moth isn't programmed to take gold sword damage, and when you knock an enemy into the spikes into this game, it does gold sword damage. So every time you knock Moth upwards into a spike, it's canceling out the damage you just tried to do to him. That's why Joe went for like a poke dash kind of, and he got really good RNG because Moth went down towards the middle of the room, and he was able to slash him away. That's why his fight looked so much easier than ACM's. But Moth only takes 4 hits from the Tempered Sword, so ACM like railed into the Moth like 7 or 8 times, it looked like.
Thankfully, they fixed that in the GBA version, so the spikes do not overwrite sword damage at all.
You can kind of control the Moth fight if you are good at poke dashing. I'm not sure how familiar ACM is with like trying to do poke dashes on a boss, or if he's even practiced it before. But that's really the key to like having a good Moth fight. It's not always easy, even with the poke dashes, because you got the floor moving in different directions. So it's not the easiest in the world. ACM lost the lottery. That Ropa, in very rare cases, can knock you out of your dash there. So I'm guessing he's going to try to get these hearts. There's one under this bush here, which he didn't get. There's another one under the rock.
Do we know why that's the case? Why the Ropas can sometimes hit you?
It just depends on the collision. It depends on the game checking whether you're gonna get hit or not, because you're always dashing through him, but I guess it depends on his position, because if he's in a certain position, he's gonna get you every time. It's supposed to be pretty rare, but it happens too often for comfort, that's for sure. So you don't want to enter ice with less than full hearts. I mean, missing one heart is fine, but anything less, it makes things just slower. So now ACM's gonna probably have a slightly slower Ice Palace than Joe.
To answer a question in the chat, GBA version has somewhat easier bosses. The boss fights are somewhat easier, but in some cases they're harder because you can't use any item when a boss is exploding in that version.
I know Trinex is like, specifically Trinex, you can't like, I don't even think you can use the Fire Rod or Ice Rod while he's exploding, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you can't.
It's just probably the hardware of the GBA not being able to handle it. Wow, looks like ACM got both his hearts back from those crabs. Crabs have a high chance of dropping hearts because they're in the heart prize pack. It's a 50-50% chance of having a drop. So he got pretty good luck there. I'm sure he's happy about that.
Both these runners are now in my favorite dungeon in the game.
This your favorite dungeon?
Yup.
I do not like this place at all.
Man, why doesn't anybody like this dungeon?
This is a very scary dungeon to be in on a good pace. It's all like execution heavy. The room that Joe's in here, this room is a nightmare when you're going for the fastest strat, which Joe isn't doing. He just went for the one bomb strat, which isn't much slower, but now he's gonna have to hit a switch in the conveyor room coming up here. This room isn't too hard. The Sophos room, and then the conveyor room. This is the room that's pretty much a nightmare. You can get pretty bad RNG depending on which way the floor is moving. Okay, Joe going for the bomb jump, which basically breaks this dungeon. Very good hammer jump. Or not hammer jump, bomb jump. See if ACM has a similar one. Very nice. Very nice from both of them.
Yes.
Cold stare is also like another factor in this dungeon that's like really scary.
Yeah, definitely. Because the game intends you have blue mail, so he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, each puff does 4 hearts and then the falling ice does 2. So this fight really depends on your coordination. Like if you can always have the same fight every time if you do the same strat, pretty much, which we're gonna see Joe doing. He's gonna be going for the double spin strat, which is very consistent and about a second faster than the strat ACM is gonna be doing, which is the 6/, which is my preferred method of killing cold stare as well. Very, very nice fight from Joe. He almost got wrecked there on the last hit, but that was really good. Very nice. And I know Joe feels much better after cold stare. And ACM going for a 6/, pretty much textbook there. Went really well. Wow. Very nice fights from both of them. I know Joe has struggled quite a bit with cold stare in the past, and it's really nice that he's like super consistent with cold stare now. He goes for a faster strat and a more consistent strat.
Meanwhile, Zelna's in Swamp. He might actually win the tournament match.
Now Joe is slightly ahead here. Okay, Swamp Palace is pretty underestimated. You can lose a lot of time here just from bad RNG, and looks like Joe's already getting bad RNG. If you get hit before you walk into a warp tile, you can't enter the warp tile until your iframes end. So they're going to open up this water gate here, which has an effect on the Dark World version of this building, which is Swamp Palace. Interesting mechanic.
Oh yeah, I love that strat.
A lot of the time loss in Swamp usually thrives from having either bad RNG or just not knowing what to do when you get certain RNGs. It's a very movement intensive dungeon. This is like the escape eastern of the Dark World. There's a lot of pumping you can do, a lot of small movement optimizations that can just help you save time here.
And not a lot of interesting things going on in Swamp. There's not really a lot of major sequence breaking you can do in this dungeon.
It looks like the dungeon itself, like when you watch it, it doesn't look very interesting, but it's like once you really sit down and you practice all these rooms, you really like it's really an interesting dungeon, especially when you see somebody do it well. But it's like you said, it's just there's not much going on here. You're pretty much getting keys, hitting switches, a lot of backtracking. It looks the same, but there's a lot of like things going on in this dungeon.
It's really hard to break this dungeon apart.
Yeah, you just need to get the big key, which is all the way on the eastern side of the dungeon. And then you just go back and get the hook shot and head to Argus.
Since this is the second Dark World dungeon, this dungeon is definitely going to be really easy because you have pretty much a lot of equipment coming in here.
Yeah, you don't really see deaths too often in Swamp. It can happen, and it usually happens on Argus, if anything. Because Argus actually hits hard. Most people underestimate that as well.
So I didn't know that. Well, that's because I never really died on Argus before.
Yeah, most people that die on Argus, it's because they go for zero cycle. ACM knocked out of his dash in this room, which is annoying. Pretty rare RNG to get knocked out of your dash there.
Now Joe got my favorite item in the game, the hook shot.
The hook shot's a pretty interesting item.
Now he's able to perform easier ways of doing super speed.
Most people don't know, but you actually have to get spin speed, or you get hook speed. You do an item dash on that pot when you enter the room that ACM is about to enter. You'll see you do a hook dash onto that pot, and it makes grabbing the pot behind the statue much easier to do. I don't know if ACM did it. Oh, it looks like he did. It's hard to see. You could tell you got it when Link is like, looks like he's shaking back like really quick. So Joe's quite a few rooms ahead. I think he's maybe 2 or 3 rooms ahead, 2.
You did say that Joe is more consistent with Dark World and Light World than ACM, right?
He has a stronger Dark World than ACM. I think maybe ACM has a slight edge in consistency though. But since Joe's doing so well already, it's, you know, ACM now that we're coming up to like the end game, where if Joe plays it well, or like he normally does, there's a good chance he's going to take this win. It looks like Joe's stream froze.
Huh?
Or it froze on the live stream. Oh no, there we go, it's back, it's back.
Oh. Alright. Pretty good Argus fight. Not really too surprising. Argus is pretty easy, as long as you don't screw up.
I didn't really see what happened to Joe there, but ACM caught up. Oh no, wait.
They both use the same exact strat on Argus.
Yeah, but ACM's stream is just a bit ahead, that's all. He's fixing it.
Oh.
He might have got a disconnect from Joe for a second there. I was like, whoa, ACM caught up already? Like how?
I'm just watching through live streamers, so I don't really.
Just give him a second, he'll get that fixed. I'll tell you how far behind ACM is here in a second.
This is where Japanese really saves frames of time, because this cutscene is pretty long.
ACM is 12 seconds behind, I think.
Something like that.
About 12 seconds behind.
Ooh. Yeah, you don't want to get hit in Death Mountain, especially on your way to Misery Mire. You want full hearts on Misery Mire because it's a really, really amazing strat that you can pull off in the second room. ACM is getting the Ice Rod early.
Yeah, it's a really strange... Oh, looks like Joe got the fairy, so he's
Ooh.
good. 10. Yeah, I'm synced. I should be synced. Does it sound like I'm ahead, or... Oh, MChan, you might be.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which order you get the Ice Rod or Ether in. It doesn't matter. But I prefer personally to get Ether first because Death Mountain is a more dangerous place than the Ice Rod area. And you have a better chance of farming crabs for hearts if you took damage on Death Mountain. So, but ACM might have his reasons. I'm not really sure why he chooses to get the Ice Rod first. Maybe he feels safer on Death Mountain. I don't know. Or maybe it's just his preference. There's no speed advantage though.
Yeah, you can also get Ice Rod after Mire, which also doesn't really save any time at all.
Yeah, I don't even think it saves time. It's just a menu optimization that pretty much saves the time, which is right here in Mire. Because you don't have to have a bomb after Mire. Whereas you don't need any bombs after Mire because you already have the Ice Rod, but you would need one if you decide to get Ice Rod after.
Well, in my preference, I usually like to have a lot of bombs, so I usually always have a lot of bombs coming into Mire because I'm conservative with bombs.
Very nice room from Joe. My God,
Yes!
that was well executed. See if ACM probably goes for a slightly safer strat here, and I'm right. But see, that's the problem with the safe strat right there, is that Popo can go behind the BMOS and like cost you some extra time, whereas Joe, he goes for the slightly riskier but more consistent strat. It's harder to like pull off the strat Joe did versus the one ACM did. You're talking like maybe a second or two difference in those rooms, but since ACM got bad RNG and the Popo went behind the BMOS, he lost a little bit of extra time there.
Got a little bit stuck right there on the railing for a little bit. Now this is the dungeon that I hate the most. I hate Misery Mire with the passion.
It's a very scary dungeon. The slugs do 4 hearts, the Wizrobes do 4 hearts. I believe their attacks do 4 hearts as well.
Vitreous does 4 hearts, and, with his lightning doing 2.
Yeah, lightning does 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a scary dungeon, which by the way, I don't know if Joe knows, and I don't want to like scare him. Oh no, he already knows, never mind. They're both on 125 pace right now. Maybe more so Joe, because like I said, ACM has a much safer endgame than Joe. But if Joe continues to play well, he's definitely capable of getting a 125 here.
But yeah, the game does expect you to have blue mail, which is why the enemies, some of the enemies here do a lot of damage. This hallway is easier with the hook shot because you can just do that.
ACM not opting for the spark gamble there. You can actually go for, they call it the spark gamble because you can there's a chance you'll get boosted towards the stairs and it's faster, but or even sometimes you can go through the spark, but there's a good chance you're just gonna get knocked back instead and end up losing that time. But
this dungeon is definitely where powder is useful.
Yeah, you don't want to take any, you want to be very conservative with your health, and since both these players don't get powder, they're keeping an eye on their health. Joe's in pretty good shape, and ACM as well. They have really nothing to worry about now because they're in the mire basement, and there's just not much stuff that can hit you too hard in here.
Yeah, I don't know how these guys are very consistent with their health, because I can never really be. I usually take a lot of damage in this place.
Mire's not too bad when it comes to conserving your health once you learn what to do. It's like Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower that are actually pretty scary. Mostly Turtle Rock because everything in there is out to kill you.
Yeah, definitely.
Mire, it's just once you practice it without powder, it's actually not that bad. You can almost always enter Vidi with about the amount of hearts that Joe and ACM have here. Joe going for interesting Vitreous strat. I love that strat. It's a strat that WQ came up with, and it looks way more consistent. Oh no!
Oh no! So dying against Vitreous loses a lot of time because now he has to go through pretty much a lot of parts of the dungeon now.
Man, that is not what I was expecting at all. Joe had such a good fight, but it looks like maybe he miscounted on the arrows there. Oh man.
So that's an example of what A Link to the Past is. It is an extremely brutal game, and a lot of things.
It takes one simple mistake like that to just pretty much ruin your entire run, unfortunately. And Joe played that so well. It looks like he may have miscounted his arrows. That was it. Like, it was just a small mistake like that. Or maybe he thought he had 8 arrows coming out and just that was obviously just a small mistake. And the eye hits pretty hard.
Yep.
He was in good shape too, like his health was fine and everything. Whew, dang. So now ACM's making his way to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of guts to play to be on a really good pace for Link to the Past for how hard the game is.
Yeah, there's just way too much that can go wrong. And ACM had a lot of trolling on Death Mountain from the squirrels there. He didn't take any damage, but he's definitely... So we're gonna see a pretty safe Turtle Rock here from ACM. He's known for being a very high-level player with a very, very safe Turtle Rock. And looks like Joe just barely having enough arrows to finish this fight off. It's not over. Turtle Rock. We still got
Turtle
Rock
is here. Extremely bad. So yeah.
It's very hard. like Joe was, he's on PB pace. He's on a very close race with ACM. It's it's very hard to like really focus that well.
Yeah.
It's not over yet though. Turtle Rock's a very unforgiving dungeon. ACM plays it pretty safe in here though, but he doesn't have the fairy drop, which he lost in Aghanim's Tower.
Yeah, a lot of enemies here do like a load of damage here because
rollers do 3, and everything else does 4 pretty much. So ACM chose to mirror out there. You can damage boost through those rollers, which saves approximately 3 seconds, which is a lot of time in this game at a high level. But ACM's taking the safe route.
Yeah,
he's
I definitely
He's in really good shape. He's aware that his prize pack has the magic coming next, which he might get from this pokey here, and he does. So Chomps, it looks like he got really good RNG.
Chomps are awful if you have that RNG.
He hit the switch on the way out, which I forgot that some players do that.
Does it save time in next room?
No, I don't think it makes a difference, honestly. You can dash a little bit longer. Oh, you know what? ACM uses the fire rod in that room, actually. You're gonna see it. It's probably why he hits that switch.
Yeah, because if you spin attack that switch, you just... What? Go on?
This is not something you see very often from a high-level player here. He's doing the fire rod strats, and he actually...
Okay.
Got a nice little snipe there from the eye. So Joe entering Turtle Rock now. Now you're going to start seeing the variation in strats here.
Yeah,
Joe knowing that
room is really scary.
He has a fairy coming up next, which he has a good chance of getting it from the first pokey that ACM killed for the magic. So he's going to be going for optimal.
Yeah, if you that switch that ACM hit, if you're not going for mirror shield, you want to hit that switch just so you save a little bit of time in the next room that you need a switch.
ACM with another signature fire rod.
Yeah, the fire rod's definitely a lot easier killing pokies from a long range. You definitely see that in any category where you have a Master Sword coming into Turtle Rock. Mirror Shield and low percent.
See if Joe gets that fairy from this. It's going to make his life a lot easier if he does. He did, but he got a recoil from the pokey.
See his chomper room here. Uh-oh.
Oh, he is...
Come on! Oh my gosh. One heart.
Not in the best shape right now with that 1 heart. He can survive this dungeon because he's a high-level player, and he's gonna have to really play it safe now because now his fairy is gone, and all he has left really is he's gonna have to grab a heart, probably in the double pokies room.
Oh, that's a pretty interesting.
ACM not doing a laser. He does a laser skip, but he walks, which is another like interesting thing to me. It's actually much harder to walk at the laser skip than to do.
I usually
the
do
dash.
damage boost because I'm not very consistent at that yet. But then I risk one hit hard.
Still blows my mind. That is so scary to do.
It's alright. Joe can still catch up. As he's like you said, he's definitely very. He's one of the best. He's one of the top players.
I can't believe that thing sniped him. He got sniped by the fireball there. That's the danger of being at 1 heart, though. He's got the big key, so he doesn't have to like backtrack to that room anymore.
The fireball in the double pokey head room.
Yeah, the Medusa.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what got him.
Yeah, it's called Medusa in this game. I don't know why. It doesn't really look like a Medusa to me.
I guess because it kind of looks like a snake head. If you really look at it, that's what it looks like. So unfortunately, Joe has taken another death, but he had one heart. So it's like it's really tough to get through this dungeon with one heart. It's possible, but you're expecting everything to just go right.
Yeah, Ganon's Tower is. Don't worry, there's still Ganon's Tower, which is extremely hard.
Joe got the same RNG he got. So ACM is making his way to Ganon's Tower. Pretty solid run from ACM still. Definitely a 126 pace still. Ganon's Tower is a very high execution dungeon. You're gonna see a lot of RNG, a lot of different strats. It's very interesting to watch.
Also, we never go to right side of Ganon's Tower for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I don't really know why anybody would do the right side Ganon's Tower unless they were just doing it for fun, of course, but
Map completion.
it's like exponentially harder to do the right side. There's a lot of very hard rooms.
I did a map completion run, and right side Ganon's Tower was pretty awful.
And there's a torch. There's like a really bad torch room.
Yeah, a wall master tile room.
A collapsing bridge room. There's a lot of really.
Yeah, but either way, right side Ganon's Tower still leads you the same way, except it's super hard to go through.
Joe is very dangerously low on health for Trinex right now. And he's got some ice on the playing field. He should be okay. He is going for the quick kill. It's a very tight quick kill though.
Joe's rolling deep.
He nails it. Nice.
Ooh, yes.
He's on sub 130 pace still.
Yeah. Any run that's under sub 130 is considered really, really good. Because this game is hard.
You see him clearing out Ice Armos there. Yeah, he's about to enter the last part of Ganon's Tower, which is pretty much linear.
Yeah, also,
way to get lost.
So he skips red mail. It's another safety item you can go for. It doesn't really take too long to get. It really only truly helps you on the Ganon fight. Also, the game intends you to have silver arrows and gold sword at this point. Makes some of these enemies a little bit easier to go through.
Absolutely not Persian player, to answer your question. I'm just answering Persian player's question. Parisian player, sorry. ACM is currently winning. Alright.
This cannonball room is horrible.
Cannonball Z. You can actually dash through that room with quite a few RNGs. It's not too difficult to do if you practice it, but it'd be scary.
Selma does that, I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I go for it too. It's just depends on the RNG you get in there when you're supposed to start your dash. They're both in Ganon's tower. So Joe really not. I mean, he's 3 minutes behind, but they're both in the same dungeon still. On his way to fight Lamola's. Gotta quit. Dang. Most of the time you can clear this room in one cycle, but sometimes you just don't get the right patterns and it's hard.
I love this. I love that Wizard strat, and you're gonna see it again in this room as well.
It's a very unique optimization with the cane there. It makes these rooms so much easier.
Ether can also kill them in one hit, but the animation's super slow.
Yeah, the Wizards are actually pretty fragile enemies. They die from just a poke in your sword, pretty much.
Yeah. They also have high heart drop rates as well, so if you ever need hearts, you can kill one.
Yeah, they're in the same prize pack as the crabs and the guards.
So all the keys that you get in Ganon's Tower is all by preference on how you want to go about with them.
Looks like Joe missed like one arrow on the Armos, and now his whole fight is going to be extremely difficult to clean up. But he actually cleans it up really well. He's getting the red Armos is a real jerk.
Yeah, if you have silver arrows, you can kill each Ice Armos with one silver arrow.
Interesting observation, Emma. So now we're gonna see a different bat pattern. Joe's going for an epic chest turn. We got ACM entering Acmlm 2 now.
Anyone got any blue ball predictions on this one? Not really. Nobody really counts blue balls in this fight.
This fight is just as difficult to optimize as Lamola's, I'd say. It's very RNG heavy.
You got 2 blue balls in this fight, but you got a 3 cycle. 2 cycles
Right.
ideal.
Joe's signature mimic strat here.
Yeah. Yeah, the Acmlm fight's the same. Well, at least for real Acmlm in this fight, it's the same concept. Where the first shot is a guaranteed energy shot, and the rest is a 50-50 chance, except he doesn't shoot a lightning out. So it takes 12 hits per phase on Ganon. If you have the gold sword, it takes 6 hits instead. Because the game really does intend you to have gold sword, red mail, and silver arrows at this point, but they don't go for it because they're slow to get. You have to go way out of your way for them.
The only reason that not grabbing the gold sword, well, grabbing the gold sword is slower. The reason you don't grab it is because the torch glitch works in this version.
Yeah.
The torch glitch is like the only reason you get the tempered sword, or stick with the tempered sword, because it actually saves so much time not having to relight both torches.
Yeah, in the GBA version, torch glitch is taken out entirely.
Yeah, there's only one version of this game that has the torch glitch removed, and it's Japanese 1.2. Not even the US version. You can still do the glitch in the US, both US versions, I believe.
Definitely. Says like probably the only guy who runs on English.
So it looks like ACM might close this out with a 126.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good
sir.
job, Acmlm.
Nice job, ACM. Very solid run for the most part.
126.58.
Yeah, he splits late for some reason.
Definitely a good run.
Meanwhile, Zona gets a casual 124.
Yeah. Guys, Zelma's the true winner of this tournament match. Not ACM.
So
Zelda
let's
moves
see.
up.
Where's ACM? Who's he facing next? Let's see. We wait for Joe to clean up Ganon's tower here.
ACM will be facing the winner of you and Ben.
Ooh. I got my work cut out for me for these next two matches if I make it past Ben.
So technically, you don't have to fight Moldorm 2 if you hover, but that's a really hard thing to do that most people don't really go for.
I think Goling.
I know Ivan went for it during his tournament match.
Yeah. Those guys are pretty consistent with hovering.
I'm pretty sure Andy does as well. So yeah, good job, ACM. And if he wants to brag a little more, he does have the world record for this category on the GBA version. He has, let me go ahead and check that right now.
Joe playing it really safe here on Aghanim 2. He's down to 1 heart. Dying to Aghanim 2 is the absolute worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, you can lose
tower because you're climbing the tower all the way back.
Okay, he's now, but now he has to fight Gano's 1 heart. Anyway, ACM has a 121.12 on No Major Glitches of the GBA version. So you could say he has true world record because that's faster than Zelna's time.
Got my work cut out for me against Ben, honestly. He's been playing a lot more than me. Yeah, GBA is quicker than the Super Nintendo version, but it's not considered the same game because of the way the mechanics are altered.
Yeah, different controls, so it definitely does consider its own game because of that matter. Text is a lot faster. Transitions are faster, so overall it saves maybe about I want to say about maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Probably get like a 118 or 117 maybe. I don't know. Or 120. You can definitely get a sub 120.
Yeah, sub 120 is very possible in this category. The only category that GBA is actually slower than SNES is Exploration Glitch. Because Exploration Glitch, there's a different setup for that instead of the fastest setup for the SNES version.
Looks like Joe's about to clean up Ganon here. He's down to 1 heart, but usually you're fine, even if you're in the 4th phase. Such a well-coordinated fight that taking damage is pretty rare. And he actually turned Ganon blue there. That's one of the most annoying things that can happen. But he's
nice. No damage. That is super impressive.
Very good fight from Joe. I'm trying, Meth. I'm trying.
He's not gonna do the moonwalk. Oh well. 140, 130, 141.
Not bad. Considering the 2 deaths he had. Sure he wants to hop in here for some rolling deep commentary. He better at least.
Pretty sure. Let's see, Joe is now out of this tournament now, but he did very good throughout the whole tournament.
He's a very strong player still.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's come a long way, and yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets a 124 sometime this year. I'm pretty sure. You know, he's a very dedicated speedrunner. Like I was saying at the beginning of the tournament, he's not far off from a big PB already. So, got high hopes for Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than the 2 deaths, that was a very good run for him.
There's my boy. Oops, I left the channel on accident.
All right, Joe, welcome. Great job. This fight, the 2 deaths that you had. What did you think? What did you think overall?
It was that was. I just had to hold myself back there. It was a really textbook race until, I was an idiot and simply just slashed too early at Vidi. I knew I only shot 7 arrows and I had to slash twice, but like I slashed right out of the pause menu afterward, and that was like really early, and I got tanked.
I was very surprised you died there. I wasn't even expecting it because
I was really surprised I continued right afterward. But yeah, I'm like, how do I explain this? Like when you die at a tough boss like that, like most times it's understandable because like it's a hard boss and all, but like when you do something like that, like something really uncharacteristic and like a really really simple mistake, it kind of like it gets under your skin, I guess.
You agree 100%. I know how that feels. Like,
especially because I knew in the back of my head that like the race was going so good, and I really like. I didn't care about like winning, losing, whatever. I just wanted to keep that close because I knew it was going like that the whole race. So I was like, dude, just whatever happens, just keep this close. And then like,
honestly,
I died, and I was really let down after that.
Honestly, if you wouldn't have died there, you probably would have beat ACM just because of how strong your your end game is compared to his. I
do think I'd agree because I was playing pretty well too.
Yeah.
And like, I think if I didn't die and like, assuming Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower didn't go the way it did in that run, I think it would have been quite a bit lower than 126.59. But
yeah,
I died and stuff, so.
Yeah, you were on 125 pace at the torches for sure. Like solid 125 pace.
Definitely.
So, well, you're close to PB anyway.
And you also got sniped by the Medusa on your way to the next part of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that was actually pretty silly too. I wasn't expecting you to die there either.
Oh, at Pokey too.
Yeah, that's another room that's kind of like.
Oh, yeah. I got the same RNG the next time too.
Yeah, you had the same RNG.
The mistake I did there is for the second spin, like I slashed too early, so Link didn't do anything. So I like stood there for a second, and the beam just hit me. I was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, that room is very like. You like once you practice like all the RNGs, you don't really like. It's always in your head that the Medusa head's on that internal timer. So you're just always like aware of when it's gonna shoot.
Yeah.
But overall, man, it was a pretty good run. Like it was really solid for both of you.
We both had 3 blue balls as well, so there was none of that getting in the way of the race. I
We're
had some
about
pretty rugged dungeons going like 1 heart most of the time.
we're about to see ACM really screw up the game here.
Yeah. So since you're out of the tournament now, what do you think of the
Yeah.
tournament like overall?
It's a damn solid tournament, to be honest. How many entrants? 64 we had. I mean, that by itself already is, amazing. And I mean, the tournament was quite active the whole time. We didn't, get set back that bad or anything, especially compared to previous tournaments and stuff. But yeah, like really well organized and everything. I mean, Fiesel, the like god of like just being a god, I guess, coming through with speed gaming and speed runs live and everything, and casting this whole tournament. I mean, just like the layout, like everything. It's it's pretty solid.
Yeah, you made it pretty far too.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
No, you shouldn't be. I mean, you play pretty well. So I mean, you're kind of like in that. You're kind of like in that same. Like I went through that phase that you did where you just die to like the. I still do it actually. Just die to the dumbest things for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All
you're
right.
definitely going to participate in future tournaments like this again sometime in the future.
Definitely. Also, ACM really bringing back the nostalgia here. Childhood memories. This this messed up screen right here. This was one of my favorite parts of the game back then. I remember my dad and I used to get stuck on the screen all the time. You're wondering, what do you do? How are you supposed to get past the screen? I wonder if ACM knows.
He might. He's the most knowledgeable, one of the most knowledgeable people, probably besides Super Scudge, about this. Like, he knows a lot about this game.
Yeah, if you can complete most of the puzzles, then it's pretty safe to say that you know quite a lot about this game.
Yeah. Agreed, Fiesel. Me too.
All right.
So you-
Well, any last words?
I actually died to Vitreous my race with Addy as well, so if there's another tournament, I'm probably gonna crap myself every time I approach Vitreous because I apparently keep dying there in tournament matches. So
It's not unusual to die to him, though.
yeah,
It's,
Yeah, especially with the strat that we use against him.
and you
Well,
actually had a good fight. Your fight was fine. You just all you
yeah,
did.
I just did a really
one
really
less
stupid
arrow.
mistake. It wasn't
Yeah.
even that. I just slashed too early. Like I wasn't paying that much attention because I was just like, oh, 2 slashes, that's it. And yeah, that.
Cool. Well, I think there's a Super Metroid race at 10 o'clock. Millennium versus Shadows Panther.
Whoa.
The Millennium is racing in Super Metroid Race.
Dude, Mill plays a lot of games, doesn't he? That is pretty cool. It's just
He
like in all
does.
these tourneys and
He's
stuff.
just like, well,
That's awesome.
he just goes in and just plays pretty
And he's
much.
top tier with SMRPG as well.
Yes, very. Okay, are we? I guess we're cutting stream, maybe. Thanks, Joe, for joining us. Unless you have any final words before.
Roll deep. Steak, raw exclusive. Just whip out those Link to the Past runs. Keep at it. Everything will keep improving. Just stay at it.
Cool.
All right. So coming up your next match of this tournament, we have at 2 Eastern time tomorrow. We have Blunts, which is you, against Ben.
Hey, that's me.
Whoa.
So
This is gonna be an interesting race. I haven't been playing too much lately, and Ben's been playing a lot lately.
Yeah, he's not joking
Could be
around.
close.
streaming all
He
day and
really
stuff.
wants to take me out, and he
Yeah.
definitely has a solid chance. He's a good player, so we'll see what happens.
I definitely hope you take this.
I kind of want to, but you know. Maybe I can finally take a break from this game. Who knows?
Who knows?
In terms of entertainment, keeping the race close is like the best. Like,
Yeah.
just me running here and like having the stream on the side, like it was hard to take my eye off sometimes. If I was like in the middle of a cutscene or something.
Both of you going back and forth was
Just like a smooth transition I peek over.
through the light world. It
Yeah.
was just so funny. Like you guys were just, and then like you guys were tied entering Aghanim's tower, which was the most interesting thing because ACM does boom
different
strats. So he does pretty
Safer
much
strats.
a safer Aghanim's tower, and you literally just saved like 9 or 10 seconds over him just because you were doing optimal strats.
Yeah, we both had good towers too, didn't we? I know I did.
Yeah, his tower wasn't bad at all. He just does, slightly slower strats. I'm just laughing at his stream right now.
Yeah, pulling the Mario
some-
statue.
He's known for good good entertainment after his runs. But yeah, it was a really close race. I was pretty excited the whole time. And you messed up hammer jump too.
Oh yeah.
And
That was really dumb decision making.
Still 125 with a bad hammer jump.
Yeah. I was 2 pixels too far up. If I'm 1 pixel too far up, I'll slash down 1, but if I'm 2, I'll pause again, and for some reason I tried slashing 2 pixels down, and yeah, that didn't work. But I was smart enough to immediately ditch it and then get it perfectly next time. And then I saw we were like synced exactly again, I was like, oh no. What ACM is kind of cruising through with the hammer.
Cruising through. Yeah, if I end up beating Ben, I'm gonna be facing him, and he's really consistent. He's more consistent than me, so there's a good chance he's gonna knock me out and go pretty far still.
I probably with like WQ and ACM, maybe top 3 most consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, take out strats and everything, just throwing straight consistency.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd say he's the second most consistent.
Yeah, actually,
I can't think of anyone else who is besides Zelna.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good at like getting back into shape and just sticking to his strats. This stream is so entertaining right now. You could probably just leave ACM stream up and just be breaking the game until the next race here.
Yeah, he was one of the few Link to the Past streams I was watching when I wasn't super into the game at the time. Looks like a YBA here.
Yeah, I guess I'm probably gonna step away for a bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Just rolling deep.
Yeah, same.
Epic race.
Thanks for having me as well. That was a sick race.
Yep. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Stick around for the SM race.
The Super Metroid races have been pretty on point, so definitely stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, peace.
Later.
Alright guys, we're going to switch over to Super Metroid now. Just waiting for those players to get set up, but that race should be going in less than 10 minutes, I would think.